Morning, everybody.
Morning, sir.
Your Majesty, Iyovwaye, my distinguished Deputy Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Ato Akpo, the Georgia Government Department, the Georgia business community, the Nigerian community, and of course my big sister that is here with her husband, Chief Dema and Dr. Onome Dema. On their goodwill, I'm here today. Sister, thank you so much. Before I proceed with my presentation, I honestly must speak directly to the organizers of the Niger Delta Summit here in Atlanta, Georgia. I've had the privilege of interacting with them since I arrived here the day before yesterday, and I can see an enormous passion that gladdens my heart. But sir and ma, I want you to know that not everyone can do what you are doing. Not everyone, sir. To promote the Niger Delta region the way you are doing is quite novel. I personally can only imagine the level of networking, telephone calls, visits, legwork, and of course your time and your resources. That's an enormous sacrifice all by itself. I know what it is because I'm in the business of trying to put things like this together. Particularly when you want to start, it can be quite challenging. But please, I'm making a passionate appeal that no matter the challenges, no matter the difficulties, please never give up on this assignment. Now, straight to the business while we're here. I'd like for you to flag off the first slide, sir. Utilizing the Niger Delta resource for her economic development with view of attracting entrepreneurs and investors to the area. To throw light on this all-important subject of utilizing the resource of the Niger Delta to develop her might not, or might just look a little simple. But I can assure you that it's not as simple as you think. It's quite a difficult assignment, but I've come determined to do justice. For us to understand the enormity of what we have had to grapple with. That's it. As an entrepreneur and a businessman from the Niger Delta, I would like to expose the things that we have had to deal with, the things that we have handled. I used to live in the West before going back home to set up the business that I'm not doing. And I understand your position, particularly for investors and my brothers that are in the diaspora. How you must feel when I ask you to come and be an investor. in the Niger Delta. I understand it. But by the special grace of God, I am in the marine business, the marine and heavy lift business. As you will see in the slides before us. Today, as I speak to you from very humble beginning, the business that we started a few years ago, I'd like to let you understand that we are now a market leader in the entire continent of Africa. So it is on this note I intend to share with you some of the secrets and some of the things that we did. So please, with all the security and trust issues in the Niger Delta, and particularly the bad press for Nigeria, please, I would like for you to know that Nigeria, and indeed the Niger Delta, is a major investment destination. Why do I say that? Now, today, you have the likes of ExxonMobil, with origin from this space. The likes of Chevron, with origin from this space. Aju, from Italy. The Texaco, Chevron has bought over Texaco back, so it's now one entity. You have Total from France. Please, I want you to also know that one of the largest single investment of Chevron globally is in Delta. You could Google it. Escravos, they are based in Escravos. You have flights flying in day and night. But on my presentation today, since I arrived there, I sense that we've been dealing with what we call the 6 states of the South-South. Nigeria is divided into 6 geopolitical zones. You have the Northwest, the Northeast, the North Central. Then on the South, you have the Southwest, you have the Southeast, and then the South-South. But there's something for administrative convenience that has been done by government. It's called the Niger Delta Development Commission. It covers 9 states. With these 6 states that you have been dealing with, there's other states that is called Imo states, Abia states, and Ondo states. They also show the same intricacies of the Niger Delta. So for the purpose of administrative convenience, you have those 9 states making the Niger Delta. And that is what I intend to deal with today. Utilizing the Niger Delta resource for economic growth and development. I have the presentation outline, as you can see. My opening thoughts, overview of the Niger Delta region, socioeconomic facts, the natural resource distribution in the region, investment opportunities in the region, investment opportunities with special focus on marine and ocean economy, because that is my forte, that is my area. I'm also going to let you see the SWOT analysis of the region, so we are open. Challenges in the marine economy, enhancing opportunities in the region, and suggested ease of doing business in the region. Please, I would like to be a roving ambassador by taking this mic from this position. I want to move. So please, I don't know if you can take this mic off from me. Yes. Yeah. Because when you are dealing with slides, it's difficult, to just look at it from the standpoint that I am. Yes, that I am. My opening thoughts. The call for Niger Delta growth and development is not only apt, but germane, very pertinent at this time, sir. That's why I want to congratulate the organizers. 2, considering the immense endowment in both natural and human resource, the region is supposed to be the pride of the nation. But that's not what it is today. But having said that, all hope is not lost. Because by reason of what is happening in this room, I can tell you that a lot can still happen in the region. Though faced with years of neglect and high-level environmental degradation, the region can still blaze the trail in terms of growth and development. But this will require vision, passion, sincere collaboration, commitment, focus, determination, and selflessness. A wise man was speaking some time ago. He said you need 3 things to succeed when you are in this sort of movement like you have for the Niger Delta development. Number 1 is focus. Number 2 is focus. Number 3 is focus. Overview of the Niger Delta. Like I said, for administrative convenience, we shall be dealing with 9 states. And you can see all colored in red. We have, for those 9 states, you have a total land area of about 75,000 square kilometers. 9 states and 185 local government areas. Estimated population of about 33 million people by the last census. Accounts for approximately 24% of the total population of Nigeria. 24%. The next slide, sir. An extremely heterogeneous population with over 40 ethnic groups. Sometimes I tend to think that the Tower of Babel, that's where the thing started from. God said, look, you all will speak different languages. 40 languages. You know what that can be? What the enormity in terms of, having people with diverse in that particular area. It comes with its own challenges. The area contributes about 80% of the country's revenue and 74% of export earnings. 24% of the population, 80% of the total earnings. That tells you what is in the area. That tells you. Contains one of the largest wetlands with an extensive freshwater, swamp forest, and rich biological diversity. Over half the area is crisscrossed with creeks and dotted with small islands. While the remainder is a lowland rainforest zone. Islands everywhere. Sometimes you are in Europe, probably in the Netherlands, you see the beauty of little islands. What can actually come out from there? And those are the things we are looking ahead to and say, look, we must replicate the same. That's why I'm happy seeing what I'm seeing here in this room today. Over 62% of the region's population are 30 years or younger with growing youth unemployment. But to tell you that you have this amount of young men and young people, men and women in the area, it shows you the energy that can be tapped from the Niger Delta. The informal sector in the region absorbs a huge proportion of the labor force, between 70 to 85%. Below is the list of the sectors which employ the largest proportion of informal labor in the region. Agriculture. Since we arrived there A lot have been said about agriculture, farming, forestry, manufacturing, and construction, wholesale, retail trade, repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles, transportation and storage, catering, and food services activities all over. The people living in the Niger Delta are mostly dependent on the environment for their survival. In the coastal areas, fishing and trading are the predominant occupations. Where else in adjacent island areas, most of the people make a living growing food and cash crops. The main crops grown include cocoa, rubber, rice. Rice today is something that, Nigeria is dependent on importing from Japan, China, and then Thailand. But today I can tell you a lot of rice is being grown in the Niger Delta, particularly in Cross River and Akwa Ibom. Still on the overview, for rural people living in the region, there are other primary sources of income, although on a small scale, including baking, tailoring, masonry, carpentry. The exploration of oil has negatively impacted local residents. But it doesn't matter. Environmental degradation has forced agricultural-dependent residents to relocate to the fertile land for employment and employment opportunities. This reduces agricultural activities inland and income and causes shortage of labor in the region. But people are moving upward to the cities. Now, this is the natural resources distribution in the Niger Delta. This is a slide of interest to this room. Because I tell you this is of interest to me, not many persons in the Niger Delta are aware that you have this amount of natural resource in the area. In Nigeria, there's what they call the exclusive list and the non-exclusive list. For the exclusive list, you can't mine and exploit it without recourse to the government. The federal government. But there's a list that is called the non-exclusive list. I'm glad to let you know that some of these natural resources are within the non-exclusive list. Just imagine if these are mined by individuals or by companies, by entities, what that would do to our GDP. Just look at the kind of resources that we're playing with. Clay, lead, zinc, gypsum, limestone, manganese, uranium. They're all found in the Niger Delta. So this is why I tell you that the Niger Delta is an investment heaven, sir. If you want to invest in the Niger Delta, apart from oil and gas, this is an enormous amount of resources to be exploited for the development of the area. If you ask me, this is an area I want investors to look at. To look at. While we are blessed with hydrocarbon, no doubt, the Niger Delta, particular delta that I am from, we have more gas than oil. 38% of the gas in Nigeria is in Delta. It's in Delta. So we are talking, if you want to exploit the region, we are looking at investors, please look at this resource. That's why I say, look, if we tap what is in the Niger Delta, Nigeria is a small location. What is there? God has placed the resources that are in that place. But the pain is that many people are not aware of this. Are not aware. This is why I want investors to look at it. For my brothers in diaspora, there is a lot we can do here. A lot, sir, we can do here. Just coming from this slide. And I'm glad to let you know, if you consult me privately, the mapping has been done. We know where they are. The mapping has been done. The surveys have been done. So just look at this. If it's phosphate, it is lignite, it's limestone, just look at it. Look at the resources that are available. And some of them are not in the exclusive list. Investment opportunities in the Niger Delta. For my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, for investors coming out of the US. The rich deposit of oil and gas makes the region a premium destination for investors in this sector. The Niger Delta, though plagued with serious environmental issues occasioned by oil exploration, still remains the home of major oil companies. Like I've just told you, Shell is there, ExxonMobil is there, Chevron is there. The big players, the big boys are playing there. Beside the international players, indigenous firms like the one that I represent, Wellman, has successfully carved a niche in the oil and gas sector by building very strong strategic alliances. And there are individuals and local companies with marginal oil fields who are doing very well. We can partner with them. We can. Investment opportunities are bound both upstream and downstream sector. Surveying, geotechnical control establishment, like I told you, mapping, sea bottom surveying and investigation. So these are opportunities for investors. Site survey, preparation of drilling location, construction of access road to drilling locations, construction of mud pits, and slabbing. All these are areas for investors to look at. Seismic data acquisition and interpretation, geological activities, drilling operations. These are areas that are viable, and they are begging for investors to come in. Refining, establishment of modular refineries and petrochemical plants, establishment of construction and maintenance of storage tanks for refined products. Please, I tell you, if you go come into Nigeria and establish just storage tanks, you can never go wrong, sir. On a daily basis, I'm aware, I'm abreast with the marginal operators. They are constantly looking for storage. They don't have enough, constantly. I run a few big badges, and they come and say, look, we want, but my badges are deck badges. We don't store liquids on them. They want to pay anything to have it. But as a principle, I just told them, no. We have a few of those wet ones, but the major ones, we don't do wet liquids. Transportation of refined products, marketing of refined products. Please go back to the previous slide. Modular refineries. That's something that is key. It's something that can help us from that area if we'll invest in modular refinery. I also have an interest in that area. I've already hired somebody in America who is helping me to do this design. So these are opportunities that are there for investors to come and make justice to that area. Modular refineries is something that is key. And today, because of technology, refineries are as small as anything. They are not as bogus as you used to have them because of technology. And the technology is abound here. And one thing about modular refinery we're also looking at, we want to try and take it to the next level by doing petrochemicals. America today is dependent on petrochemicals. They are constantly looking for ink oil, they are constantly looking for ethanol, they are constantly looking for naphtha. I challenge you to look at what America needs to consume ethanol, because they also use it as a biofuel. Just look at the figures. The next slide, sir. Establishment of gas treatment plants for domestic and industrial use. Establishment of gas-powered regenerating plants. Fertilizer plant. Exportation of gas. Pipeline construction of gas. These are all investments that investors need to look at. Gas, like I've told you, we have more gas than crude oil. Today, people are constantly looking for alternative source of energy. A cleaner energy is in gas. And that's where a lot of investment are going through. I'm also, privileged to hear the fact that one of our organizers is from Guyana. And I'm aware of the development that because we have a particular company coming out of Houston, Texas, that is investing in Guyana, over $600 million on a particular project in Guyana. That particular company, they want to invest $3 billion in Nigeria, sir. They're coming out of Houston, Texas. So there's a lot of investment in the area. Serious business that will impact positively on the Niger Delta. Having done with hydrocarbon, we are now having to do with the agro-business, agriculture, agro-processing. While you can see the palm kernel nuts, everything is in that thing, sir. Everything is there. Today, the economy of Malaysia is sustained by this item. History has it that they came to Nigeria, some time ago. Took a few nuts. I have been to Malaysia, and I've seen what they are doing there. So in a particular, factory I went to Malaysia, sir, they have the processing plant for this, and at the end of the production line is vegetable oil. After that vegetable oil, they produce the plastic. So as they're producing from the production line, it goes straight to the plastic. And most of them, those yellow cans you see even in Nigeria, they come from that factory. And that factory probably is less than a 1 acre land. Small factory. Because what drives the world today is SMEs, sir. It's SMEs. We talk of China today because of SMEs. Even Europe today, 30% that drives European economy is SMEs. So everything is in this product. Everything. This product itself is life. And is there in abundance. Agriculture has remained the most dominant economic activity for rural dwellers in the Niger Delta region. Our people, our ancestors, they farm and farm and farm, sir. And you need to see what they do with the revenue from farming. With crop farming and fishing activities accounting for approximately 90% of all forms of activities in the rural area in the Niger Delta. About 50 to 68% of active labor force is engaged in one form of agricultural practice or the other, including fishing and farming and local food processing. We talk about agriculture today, we must not forget, the area of animal husbandry. There's a lot of opportunities for investors. And we urge you in this house today to look at it. The region is richly endowed with alluvial and other soil types that favors all year-round agricultural production. Soil has a lot of alluvium content. You put a seed today. So I remember my son came back from school, they were doing a practical and they brought a bean seedling that, well, let's do some practical and bring it to school the next day. He came, we put the bean seedling on the small sand in a container. So please, by the time we woke up in the morning, there were blades showing up. Within 12 hours, there were blades showing up. That's to tell you the kind of soil we have in the area. Very fertile. You put anything grows in it. And most of the developers today, sir, they are built up on farming. You go to a lot of places in America like you see large spans of farmers. Farming everywhere. China is the same. India is the same. Germany is the same. Everywhere. But we have neglected farming. So this is an area that investors should look at. We should look at farming. Farming can more than take this place, this Niger Delta region, to another level. We urge investors to look at it. The area is one of the largest wetlands in the world and richly endowed with arable land for agricultural purposes. Are the largest mangrove swamps in Africa, where cash crops including rubber, cocoa, oil, palm, coconut, and food crops such as cassava, yam, maize, and plantain are produced. I just mentioned the insatiable need of America for ethanol. The highest quality of ethanol can be gotten from this product called cassava. It's the highest. So what to do in that area is abound everywhere. Value addition to agricultural product is another very strategic investment subunit in agriculture. So enough of, you are producing cassava, you say you want to sell cassava. No, we must take it to the next level. There must be value addition. There must be value addition. Like you go now to Cote d'Ivoire, who are the largest producer of cocoa in Africa, they hardly will allow you to send out the cocoa seedlings. No, you have to process to the next level. That's an area for investors to look at. The Chinese came to Iyovwaye some time ago, and they looked at the granite that we're producing and said, wow. They went to check the granite. And the production of granite in that small community in the Niger Delta is still at communal level. The quality of granite that comes out from the ground is something else. It's something you can't find anywhere. Investment opportunities in the Niger Delta. Fishing, aquaculture, marine resource, food industry. So this is another area that is untapped. We're just scratching the surface. We're just scratching the surface. I long to see where major trawlers will come into the Niger Delta and start genuine fishing, because we are just at the edge of the Atlantic. And no one goes into the Atlantic with trawlers to fish. It's a green area, sir. Green area completely. Green area. All the fishing we are talking about and the percentage we are quoting since I started on my slides is just communal fishing. Fishing, people who go about with canoes and all that, and they're doing the fishing. That's all. With nets. Going into the Atlantic with trawlers and doing fishing. No one is doing that. The opportunity exists. We know what happens here in America, the kind of fishing you have. Why can't that be replicated in the Niger Delta? Including several ponds, lakes and streams, inland rivers, creeks, estuaries, over thousands of hectares of freshwater resources, and brackish water of the mangrove. Brackish water has a lot of potential. Brackish waters are waters between the river water and the ocean water. It's at the middle because of its, the little line. But it does exist, and people are looking for it. Because of the salinity, the little salinity in the water. Those are things that are bound in the Niger Delta. The extensive coastline and related coastline water system provide opportunities for artisanal fishing, which form the economic and livelihood backbone for many rural communities. Given this advantage, it provides lucrative business opportunities in fishing, storage, processing, and trading of seafood. Storage, key. Now people just produce and then they eat. If they want to store, they have to go and dry it. No, we can still store fresh, and it can be fresh even for a year or more. Those are opportunities that are bound in the Niger Delta. Investment opportunities in Niger Delta, forest products, timber and logging. Please, when we talk about timber and logging here, it is responsible logging. You are cutting one and you are putting down, you are planting two. Though, in the global space, this is a huge problem all by itself, logging. Because there are some persons in Africa who say, okay, you Europeans and Americans, you have finished logging all your place. You don't want those log for us to log us? So we have that kind of debate. But that's for another day. The rainforest of the Niger Delta is filled with economically useful forest resources that are raw materials, inputs in manufactured products as follows. Food, beverages, cooking spices, processed foods, livestock feeds, medicine, pharmaceutical, toxins, biochemicals. The opportunities for sustainable timber and logging activities are also abound. These are opportunities that are replicated everywhere. And they're looking and begging for investors to come. Investment opportunities in Niger Delta as we continue. A closer look at the chart 2.0 reveals the deposit of valuable minerals in the Niger Delta. Bitumen, clay, glass sand, granite, lead, zinc, gold, cocoa, oil. So one very important thing is glass sand. If you get to where you have Delta glass. I worked as a quality control officer in Delta glass. And just behind that glass, you have a lot of glass sand in that particular area. Granite, gold, lead, zinc. These are mineral resources that are abound in the Niger Delta. We are not just known for oil, but minerals everywhere. While the Niger Delta provides ample opportunities for business investments due to its natural endowment, it is important to state that in exploiting the natural resources, individuals and organizations must have a sustainability action plan so that the effect of harnessing the natural resources will not further compound the debilitating issue of environmental degradation in the region. Thus, utilization of the natural resources should have remedial plans to mitigate the impact on the region's ecosystems and communities. Investment opportunities in marine ocean. Beyond oil exploration offshores and in deep ocean waters of the Niger Delta, the expanse of water bodies presents very economical, viable opportunities for investment. The justification is that the ocean economy supports about 90% of global trade, providing about $24 trillion from investment in shipping, tourism, offshore energy. Sir, the figures that we are playing with here, they are humongous, sir. They are humongous. These are the things that you find in the Niger Delta. But as we speak, many of them are untapped. The breakdown in global trade is as follows. Seagrass and mangroves are worth $6.9 trillion US dollars. Trade and transport, $5.2 trillion. Coastline productivity and carbon absorption, $12.1 trillion. The marine ocean economy contributes employment, job creation, and poverty eradication. Imagine if all these investments, they come into stream. We'll be able to, turn the place to another world entirely. It's also addressing challenges as ending hunger, securing food, promoting psychological condition and sustainable fisheries, sustainable energy and natural resource, innovative industries, and fostering people, culture, communities, and societies. The Niger Delta can leverage this great endowment and earn huge foreign exchange from marine export and tourism like countries such as Mauritius and Seychelles. Maritime transportation, there's already huge pressure on roads in Nigeria and in the Niger Delta. We don't have enough good roads. It's an area that is begging for investment. Civil works, begging for investment. Considering the risk involved in transporting fragile and heavy-duty equipment on land, especially on roads that are either too small or substandard, maritime transportation provides a veritable alternative. Road, civil works is begging for investment. Besides, the industrial transportation and a well-developed water transport system will enhance effective movement of people and goods. There are no records of heavy investment in this sector. None in the Niger Delta. And from surface analysis, it's a viable sector that can accommodate diverse level of investment. There are no levels of any kind of investment, sir. Just imagine if an investor picks this, what happens? This is a critical aspect, ship maintenance and ship repairs. We have a few of them. We have one of them in Lagos and one of them probably in Port Harcourt, and a few, small players here and there on ship repairs. Now, sometimes we have to go to places like Ghana, we go to neighboring, West African countries, because, when you have the schedule of maintenance, it's quite frightening. So this is an area that is begging for investors. This one, ship repairs. Because you have all the players there. All the players are there with their vessels. Artisanal fishing, trawling for demersal fish, shrimps, and tuna fishery. Another aspect in marine, and another aspect is marine waste management. Marine waste management, because all these vessels that come, their waste, you need to manage their waste. Those are things that are begging for investors. With the growing size of undecomposable materials underneath the ocean, business activities in this direction are positive aspects. This is a global problem, and everyone is looking for a solution to this problem. Offshore renewable energy could be harnessed from wind, waves to power homes, farms, industrial settings, development of port infrastructures, and eco-tourism, which includes marine parks and wildlife tourism. So the level of investment that, or the opportunities that are available in the Niger Delta, sir, is humongous. That's the truth. We need to look at it. R&D, investment in recent and innovative studies, research into new initiatives from ocean resources, A lot has to be done and still waiting to be done in research and development. I have a number of slides, but I think I can close this section from here. A SWOT analysis. The strength of the Niger Delta, agricultural land and related resources, forest resources, petroleum, natural and gas resources, natural water bodies, human resources, majorly viable youth population, abundant biodiversity, wildlife and animal resource. These are the strengths that is coming out from the Niger Delta. The weakness, environmental crisis and environmental pollution. Farming is regarded as business for the elderly. You know, the young, the youths are saying, no, to go and farm. But like somebody gave us an analogy yesterday, if there's good money there, people will farm. People will wear their suit and go and farm. Obsolete technology for farming, lack of key skills and competencies, lack of sufficient verifiable information and database. Database information is something that is begging for investment. Poor service support, lack of employment opportunities. These are the weaknesses we have identified in the area. But then opportunities, food processing, industries, and related businesses, furniture and woodworks, oil companies, rural tourism, educational and healthcare, abundant biodiversity, wildlife and animal resources. These are the opportunities. Threats, vulnerability to flood. Annual flooding, we sometimes have it in the area, but it's not something to deter investors. That in itself requires investors. That in itself. The technology to stop flood is begging for investment. Inflation and economic instability, soil pollution, water pollution, increasing communal crisis and insecurity. Insecurity is begging for investment. With technology, we can stop insecurity. Engage the people and apply technology to the area. We've been told yesterday in the security section, you can send drones to check the area, to scan the area through. It's an area that is begging for investment, to secure the area. There's a lot you can do by technology. Poor infrastructure, increasing population without improving welfare. These are some of the threats in the area. This is just a SWOT analysis of the area. I want to stop there because I'm sure we still have a lot. We can share the slides. We still have a lot. We can share the slides. But I want to say that, look, this is just an overview of what can happen in the Niger Delta. But for me, as an individual, like I told you, I've been in the West before, and I've gone back home to invest. I would like you to share the other slide, just to show you a little of what I have done. I have done going back home to invest in the area. And I think that for any investor, the sky is the limit. Honestly, I want to encourage people to try and look at what we have in the Niger Delta that I have just displayed within the last few minutes. Look at the opportunities everywhere. Every year you turn, there's an opportunity. By the special grace of God, I'm the managing director of the World Bank Group. We're involved in heavy lift and marine movement, marine transportation. Now, these are the structures that we move. These are the structures that we move to take to the next level the Nigerian economy. Now today, just hang on, sir. Now today, this is the single largest structure. So can you go back, sir? Back. No? No, then keep going forward. Keep going forward. Keep going forward. That's it. Okay, that's it. It's still the same. Okay, leave it. This is the single largest structure ever moved in Nigerian history and the entire Gulf of Guinea. And I'm glad to let you know that it was moved by us. No, it's not. This is for Chevron. This is for Chevron. It's called the Merem Sonam Project. Now, this particular structure weighs 3,500 tons. One single structure, the single largest ever moved by our equipment, moved by our personnel. Now you see what is happening here. On this slide, you have our barge here. Now you have the structure. Then these are modular trailers. You see that? These are modular trailers that we invested in. When the Nigerian content, said, look, enough of this portfolio businessmen. You must do something to take our businesses to the next level by acquiring equipment. And we acquired those equipments. I'm sure by the last count, we have the largest fleet in the entire continent of Africa, sir. The largest fleet. This particular structure was moved with 140 axle lines. The trailers are measured by axle lines. You can see them all scattered. Now, it was fabricated in Niger Delta in Apapa, in Lagos. If you know, those of us who know Nigeria very well. It was fabricated there. It is our contract to move it from there onto the barge. Now, you remember, those machines are remotely controlled. Now, you see, to move this structure of 3,500 from ground onto this barge, remember that the baseline water is water. You can see the barge sitting on water. And now you want to move that heavy structure onto water. You know what that is. Water is an unstable environment. When you transfer a load onto the barge further goes down. So this is all about engineering that is also available here. Now, before then, we have putting pumps everywhere, and we have submerged the barge so that it can align with the jetty for us to drive in. But when you transfer a load onto the barge is further depressed. At that time, we have put pumps in the barge. We are taking a corresponding amount of water from the barge so that the barge can align all the time. It's something to behold. Today, something we started small, has become a global business. A global business. And I know this thing is possible by anyone. That's the confidence that I have. And that's why we are, talking to our brothers in diaspora, talking to investors. There's a lot you can do. When I left the shores of Europe, I never knew this was possible. And I am confident that if it is possible by my hand, it's also possible by the hand of another. So what we are saying to our brothers, just let the slides flow so that they can see pictures of the work. Just hang on, I want to just give a little story on this one. Now, on this particular structure, we're moving this structure for Total. Now, we acquired this equipment. You can see the modular trailers going in. Now, at this time, we didn't have ramp. We have plates from the land to the barge. Now, when we started moving, the plates went up. You know when you get to the place, now got up. And we drove against the plate. My God. I was on this side. And the axle lines of those trailers broke. And the whole of that structure was coming down. My God. Everybody, including the expert, everybody ran. We ran for our dear life. But thank God to people who had the engineering expertise. There was a Frenchman, Alan, who has the expertise. Everybody ran away. He came back, isolated a number of the trailers, that particular area, isolated it, I got more power, and we delivered safely this particular structure. So these are the things we do in the Niger Delta. And it's still possible today. We represent the endurance level of the area, what is possible in the area. And I want to enjoin my brothers in the diaspora, please, there are opportunities. We must take advantage. We can't leave them the way they are. Now, somebody from the consulate told us the Asian tigers are there, sir. The Chinese are there. They are buying up communities because they know that there are resources in the land. And we can't continue to live. This is for the Dangote refinery. It's called the ammonia converter. Now, this refinery, this particular structure, there were 69 structures in Apapa port. Dangote did not know how to move it for 2.5 years. And I came that I will move it. He said, look, you are a joker. People have come from all over the world. And then I brought my equipment at my cost from the Niger Delta. At my cost. And did a demo for them. And they saw it. Dangote asked an American and an Indian to follow me on the route. And we did that. And when we went for the demo, we had challenges. And the Indians said, forget it, you can't do it. And I told him, engineering is about looking for solutions. It's not that there will be no problems. There will be problems, but we will mitigate them. And the Americans signed up on it and went to Mr. Dangote. And by the time we negotiated, the last foreign contractor was given $27 million to move this item. But I tell you, we moved that in for almost half of that money. Almost half. And all 69 structures were safely delivered to the Dangote refinery. Are you getting me, sir? So these are the things that are possible in the Niger Delta, sir. Please, I'm enjoining investors to look at what is possible. There are lots to be done in the Niger Delta. There's a lot of opportunities. My brothers and sisters in the diaspora, we need to take advantage. The Asian tigers are there, the Chinese are there, the Lebanese are there. Are you getting me? If you leave those things in their hands, these are resources that God has given us. We can take advantage of them. When I go to those meetings and I see them, I just say, my God. So those of us in diaspora say, nothing is happening. It's a lie, sir. It's a lie from the pit of hell. It's a lie from the pit of hell, sir. You need to position yourself and take advantage of it. We are appealing to investors to look at what we have. Now look at what is happening here. This is on its way. So when we did that demo to Dangote, we need to move these structures by road. This is the first time we had to move through town. If you know Lagos very well, you have Eko Bridge, you have Jimmy Carter Bridge, then you have the Third Mainland Bridge. Those are the three bridges. This we're approaching now is called the Eko Bridge. It's the first bridge and very low. Now, engineering-wise, it's practically impossible to go under that bridge. So when we want to come under, you need to see people who gather. Now, how do we do this? That we want to move this, the diameter of this cylinder, some of them are about 9.5. And from the bottom of our barge to under the bridge, it's about 5.6. It's practically impossible without engineering. It has to be engineered. Now, what we did, these structures, you can see them sitting on stools. But then we take them out, we deliver them onto the barge without stools. So in other words, you would have gained 1 meter. Then when we get to the bridge, we submerge this barge that you are seeing. It's about 4.2. We submerge it to 0.2. And we go under the bridge. And now we go against the bridge when the tide is against us. We don't go against the bridge when the tide is in our favor. If you go against the bridge when the tide is in your favor, it could take you anywhere. But if you go against it when the tide is against you, you have control. You have to push your way through. That's how all 69 structures were delivered to Dangote for the Dangote refinery. My brothers and sisters, there's a lot to be done in the Niger Delta. Honestly, I'm appealing and asking you that these opportunities are everywhere. Just as I've outlined in all the previous slides. Look at this one. This is for ExxonMobil. Please go on. This is for ExxonMobil. This is perhaps, when we acquire these modular trailers, this is perhaps the second movement we use them to deliver. Now, this is what I was explaining to you. Look at the edge of the barge. Look at the key wall. This is the jetty. This is the end of the barge. You see what we have done? You see all these pumps here? We have used them to submerge this barge. Now, as we are driving in, we have calculated that when 2 or 3 tires touch this barge, come into this barge, we have calculated the amount of weight that has been transferred. Then we take a corresponding amount of water and we keep the barge aligned like this all the time. And that makes us to drive in and then we drive out and come back. If you look at this, we deliver 2 of the same structure onto the barge. Look at the next slide. That's it. That's work done and completed for Exxon. It's called the E-Tooth and Abang, project in Akwa Ibom, in Calabar, sorry. So this was delivered for Exxon, sir. So these are the things that are possible in the Niger Delta. The investment are there, the opportunities are there, and I want to enjoin everyone to take advantage of what we have, so that indeed what we are having here today will not just be a meeting where we are talking and there's no action. I believe that from this meeting, there will be actionable steps to be taken, so that together, we can make Niger Delta a place for us to behold. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deacon Chris.